Can you imagine Peter Parker with all the power and no responsibility? Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important comic book review so you, the fans, can make a decision on what comic books to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about The Amazing Spider-Man issue 3, or otherwise known as issue 804. This book is written by Nick Spencer, and the artwork is done by Ryan Ottley. Ryan Ottley's artwork on Amazing Spider-Man has really grown on me. It's becoming more and more each issue goes by as it's Amazing Spider-Man more than he did Invincible. I love the way he draws. All his characters have great facial expressions. We get Nora Winters in this book. We get, obviously, MJ in this book. We get the Tri-Sentinel in this book. And all the characters look really great. And the way he draws Spider-Man is awesome. Okay? So, let's talk about this issue, alright? So, in the beginning, this issue opens up with a couple of guys that are poaching, alright? It's just one page, and we wind up seeing one of the poachers that gets killed. And then we get to the point now where we're in a bowling alley, alright? And in the last issue, we got left with a cliffhanger where Peter Parker looks like he gets duplicated or cloned or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't start off that way. It just starts off with Peter and MJ. They're having a date, or a double date, let's say, at a bowling alley. Randy Robertson is there. And Nora Winters makes her appearance. And they're trying to set up like this double date type of thing. But those two used to date back in the day. Okay, so they're bowling, and then the next thing we wind up finding out is that there's this big problem in the city and in downtown, and it is none other than the Tri-Sentinel. And the Tri-Sentinel's just a regular Sentinel, but it's just got 3 faces, it's got 6 arms, it's this crazy robot that they made back in the, I think it was like the 90s or something like that, in an Amazing Spider-Man tale. Excuse me. And it was just cool to see this robot back, okay? And the next thing you see is Mary Jane is kind of like, well, shouldn't you become... And then Peter's kind of like, not these days so much anymore. And you're kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Is he just dissing his responsibility to be with MJ? But then the next thing you see Spider-Man sitting there going against the Tri-Sentinel. Has all the witty humor and everything else. Then you go into the scene of what has truly happened. We go back to the original machine that made Spider-Man Spider-Man. And we find out, obviously it's called the Isotope Genome Accelerator. And so what happens this time around is when he turned on the machine while he was doing battle against Taskmaster and Black Ant, it winds up duplicating Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It actually splits their genes in half, okay? So one person is Peter and the other is Spider-Man. But as we continue to read this issue and find out what's going on, is that Peter, the original Peter, doesn't have his spider powers anymore. And Spider-Man is no longer Peter Parker anymore. He's just Spider-Man. That's it. And so they have to come up with the responsibilities of who's doing what and who's doing this. And of course, Spidey, the costume Spidey, is all witty and everything else. And Peter's just like, okay. And so it looks like the costume Spidey is going to do battle against all the bad guys and have all those responsibilities, and Peter's just going to be Peter without the powers. And then he's just like, well, I can't get down from this building. Who's going to help me? And so we get to see that there's this adjustment period with him. He doesn't do battle against the bad guys. He watches from the sidelines. He has no powers of a spider. He's just completely normal. Okay? And he can't even bowl right. It's just so funny. And Then we get to see Kurt Connors actually request Peter to come and, have a discussion with him about the talks of, does he want to go back to school, okay? And he still hasn't made up his mind on the whole situation. So in the meantime, Kurt Connors shows him this machine, obviously, and we find out that he's been doing the experiments on the mice and whatnot because Kurt Connors doesn't know what happened to Peter. And we find out that they split the mice, and we find out that the genes get completely separated, and you don't know which parts are going to be separated. So what happens in this long explanation that is being told to Peter is that basically you're getting a Spider-Man that has all the power, but could give a crap about responsibility. And this is going to be a problem. And at the end of it, you get to see him destroy the Tri-Sentinel. It falls all completely into the ground. Doesn't care about who's in harm's way. And he's like, yeah, man, I just defeated the Tri-Sentinel. And you're like, shit. And so this is going to make out for a problem because this other Spider-Man is not going to care who he kills as long as he destroys the bad guys. And that's not what Spider-Man is all about. So it was a really, really cool issue. I thought it was really neat to see Peter kind of live the everyday life, but just like always, it's not always rainbows and unicorns and flowers and all that other stuff. There's always a problem at the end. So Peter has to figure out how to stop this Spider-Man, and he's got to figure out how to become the real Spider-Man again. So at the end of the day, I really love this issue. I love all the character interactions. I love the artwork in this book. I love the throwbacks to the original Spider-Man. And this is not necessarily a clone story. You're basically just splitting him in half into two separate people. And I like that storytelling. I think it's a lot of fun. So at the end of the day, I'm giving this book probably a 4.75 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying what Nick Spencer is doing with the character. So guys, in the comments below, tell me what you thought of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 3. Do you like the direction of this book so far? What do you think about Nick Spencer's writing? What do you think about Ryan Ottley's artwork? And fans, as always, thank you so much for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a single video from me. And fans, I'll see you on that next comic book review. Take care, guys. Bye.